Well, hello there, and welcome back to Mr. E's Mysteries and Magics. Brought to you, as always, by RP Magic Shop in Ludlow, Massachusetts. Their website is linked down below. Please take a moment to visit it and check out his offerings. Okay, so this video is going to be one on a particular bit of magic that I really enjoy doing. This is one of my favorite little bits of magic that I do, and I will say right off the bat that the various parts of this particular magic effect are not original to me. I take no credit for creating them whatsoever. What I did do was take those elements and put them together in a new and unique presentation or routine or whatever you want to call it. And as far as I know, this is the only one that's like it, unless someone has some other information or has seen something like this before. I am going to take credit for this being an original trick because I did use those elements in a new and different way. So here's how I start the trick out when I've got spectators. I have them all sitting around, and I start out by telling them that when I first started doing this particular little bit of magic, people would say to me, well, it's very obvious what you're doing. It's not very mysterious at all. You're obviously using a marked deck. The problem was I was not using a marked deck, but I couldn't persuade people of that. And so what I had to do was find a deck that could not possibly be marked. And this is that deck. You can see there, not a single mark on any of these cards. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole deck, but these cards are definitely not marked. I often do this. I say to one of my spectators, go ahead, check that card out, look it over thoroughly, show your friends. Here's a second card for another spectator. You look at that one, see if you can find any markings on the cards at all. Of course, they won't. They then return the cards to the deck. And I say, now I'm going to show you, first of all, that the cards are pretty well mixed up already. They're not in new deck order. I've gotten these already shuffled up, but I'm going to do just another quick little shuffle here. Nothing major, just to get another little bit of mixology, I guess you could say, into the deck. And the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to turn my back, and I am even going to close my eyes. And then I'm going to twist back around with the deck in my hand, and this will allow two things to happen. Thing number one, it will allow me to riffle these cards right in front of you, and then you just tell me when to stop, and that card there, whatever card we stop at, will be your chosen card. The second thing that will happen is that being all twisted around like that, I will get a muscle cramp in my ribs that's going to last until Tuesday, but that's another issue. So, here I go. Now, I'm stepping out of character here for a moment for the purposes of the demonstration. No, I'm not going to try to twist around while I'm sitting here like this, but I will promise you that whatever card that they come up with here when I do this little riffle thing, I will not look at, because I, at this time, should have my back turned and my eyes closed. So I'm doing that, and I do the riffle, and there's the stop right there, and I am simulating my back being turned by taking this half of the deck, and I'm moving it off camera. Okay, so here is the card that's chosen. I am going to show you. I hope it's on the screen properly. I don't know if it is or not. I'm hoping it works out that way. Anyway, after that's done, I now tell my spectators, go ahead, you can take that card, you can put it anywhere in the middle of the deck, you can put it back on top of the deck, whatever you want to do. In this case, I had them, we pretended that they put it back in the middle of the deck. I now turn back around, add the rest of the cards to the deck, and I hand them the deck. And I say, here's what I want you to do now. Take this deck and give it at least 3 good shuffles. And we will do that. Preferably, you can give it 4 or 5. I'd like you to give it a lot. For the sake of brevity, I'm only going to do 3. But if they want to do 4, 5, or 7, I don't really care. Then I tell them, okay, you're finished. shuffling. Now the idea is here you're shuffling them because I don't want to have any idea where your card could possibly be. You are burying it so deep in the deck I could never find it. At this point, please do a couple of cuts. And you can cut it any single way you want. And there you go. Now, we put that deck aside. We are done. Your card is, I'll probably put it back here on the screen. Your card is buried so deep in there, I have absolutely no idea where it could possibly be or what your card actually is. So, at this point, I now take a few decks from my pocket. And I am going to assume, for the sake of argument, that we're doing this in a bar, which is where I used to do this for the most part. And I take out several decks, and I say this particular deck represents imported beers. This particular deck represents mass-market domestic beers. This particular deck, of course, craft beers. And since I live in Massachusetts, this deck represents Massachusetts' favorite baseball team. Pick any one of those decks that you care to. Now, it doesn't matter which deck they pick. For the sake of argument, I will pick the Red Sox deck only because when I do this in a bar, 99% of the time, well, I shouldn't say that, about 90% of the time, they pick the Red Sox deck. So we take the deck out of the box, make sure we get all the cards. Okay, that's a joke. We don't need that. Find the other joker. Is the other joker in here? Yes, there's the other joker. We'll get rid of that. And now I am going to go through these cards. And I'm going to pick a couple of cards. Let's see. I think I will pick maybe this one. No. I think I'll pick this one. And maybe, I don't know. None of these really appeal. I suppose we'll do this one. I don't know. I don't really care. But you know what? This is really stupid. I tell you what. You pick 3 cards. Just take any 3 cards you want right out of the deck and just put them right down there on the table. So we'll do that one. Turn the cards around so they face the same way. We'll do, say, this one. And we'll do maybe this one. Okay? All right. So you now put those cards aside. We have 5 nice little cards here. All right. I'm going to say to them now, if you want, you can mix up the order of the cards. And let's say they do. Let's say they do a little bit of mixing like this. And things are kind of like that. All right. Excellent. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to point to 2 cards, and you will eliminate one. So I'm going to point to these 2 cards. You want to eliminate the middle card? Fine. There you go. All right. Now, you point to 2 cards, and I will eliminate one. So let's say they point to these 2. I'll say, okay, let's eliminate this one. All right, now it's my turn to eliminate, to point to 2 cards, and you, the spectator, will pick one to eliminate. I will pick these 2 to point at. Which one do you want to eliminate? Let's eliminate the one on the far end. Excellent. Now, we have 2 cards left, and you can point to them if you like, but there really is only 2, so whatever, it's my choice. I just get to pick one of those 2 cards, and I will pick this one to eliminate. And we'll put that there. You can see the eliminated cards right there. And so now we're down to 1 card, and it is indeed your King of Hearts. And that, my friends, is no marked cards. And that, when you pick up their card and show it to them, is how you always leave them baffled.